Today, I will share my drawstring waistband technique with you. I take a piece of fabric that is about 2 inches wider than the hip circumference and I put fusible interfacing on the wrong side of it. I fold it in half like this and I stitch along the short edge with a 1/2 inch allowance. I open the seam out and I press it flat for best results using my iron, and then I fold the waistband in half like this all the way around and I give it another press. Next, I find the center front using the center back as my reference and I put a notch there, and then I draw a line, just a very faint line down the center, and then about a 1/2 inch on both sides of that center mark, I make 2 more marks. I am pretty much just gonna stitch buttonholes on these. I open my buttonhole foot just enough to match the lines that I drew, and then I install the buttonhole foot on my sewing machine. I like to make sure that there is at least a 1/2 inch space below and above the lines that I draw, and this is going to make it so that I will have enough space for the drawstring. I also make a mark for where I want to start my buttonhole, because the buttonhole foot works from front to back like this. But once that is done, I can slit both of the buttonholes open, and I purposefully used black thread because the theme of these trousers is black and white. Next, I stitch around the raw edge of the waistband, leaving a 1 inch gap for some elastic that I will pass through it using a safety pin. My elastic is 1 inch thick, and that's because I am making these trousers for my daughter. When I'm making them for myself, I use 2 inch elastic. I overlap the 2 ends of the elastic and I use a zigzag stitch to secure them together. Once that's done, I distribute the elastic evenly throughout the waistband and I finish the raw edge using my serger. I sew at the top and the bottom of the buttonholes in order to create a channel for the drawstring, and I make sure to backstitch at the beginning and the end of each of these stitches. This is how it's looking, and this will be the spot where the drawstring goes. Now I'm identifying the back from the front of the trousers, and I'm matching the center front, the center back, and the 2 side seams with the 4 points that I created on the waistband. I stretch the waistband to meet the fabric, and this creates somewhat of a scrunchy effect. I stitched this drawstring and I used my safety pin to pass it through, and then I anchored the drawstring in the center back with a stay stitch. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more sewing tutorials.